Hello mate, what's going on, and welcome back to Football Therapy with me, your host, Jan. I hope you're doing well, mate. I really do hope that. And welcome back to Chelsea News, the daily series here on the channel where I reflect on everything, or at least some things that are being said about Chelsea, giving you my thoughts, feelings, and opinions on it. So close to getting it out all smoothly. But as always, more importantly, asking for yours, your opinions, that is. Okay. Today we are talking about all sorts of things regarding transfers, and indeed, maybe not just transfers, because Mudryk has had his number 10 shirt stripped from him, which is very telling, you must say. Maignan just ate 5 goals against Spain. Maybe we should lower that £8.5 million offer that everyone was crying about. A little bit more on Osimhen. I know, it's nothing to do with Chelsea at the moment, but I can still dream, yeah? Although, maybe I can't dream, because if we are to believe journalist Santi Aouona, it's getting a bit silly now, him in the money situation. Maybe a bit on Kudus, maybe a bit on Gittins, and the fact how, maybe unsurprisingly, French striker Ekitike wants the move to Chelsea. Oh yeah, it's going to be good. Strap yourselves in. I'll thank you as always for joining me. I'll waft you in the general direction of the like button. If you could drop a like on this video, that's very kind of you. And as always, everyone is welcome to subscribe here. And should you choose to subscribe, hit that sweet, sweet bell, baby. Not my best. All right. Where to start? Maignan, another player who wants to join Chelsea, which you'll hear in headlines, and it's fine because I believe it. Chelsea are a Champions League playing club. Chelsea are located in southwest London. Chelsea, beautiful Fulham, wonderful place to live in England, or London generally. And yeah, there's a, for example, you can be the guy, the goalkeeper, you can be the guy, the striker. We'll speak about that striker in just a moment. And I can believe now, with the settled nature of Chelsea, it's less chaotic than it was 2 years ago, with players sitting in the hallway, flying in and out, Graham Potter being our fearsome leader. The optics weren't great. Things have settled. We've qualified not only for the top 5, but the top 4, and we won a trophy. Major trophy, that's what we're calling it. We've won one. So I do believe players would like to come to Chelsea. I think they've always wanted to come to Chelsea, but, you know, it's sort of looking a little bit more like you're allowed to say it publicly again. Yes, Maignan. So he's one of these players. Milan want 25 million pounds. He is in the final 12 months of his contract. He is turning 30 this summer. Which is not old for a goalkeeper. Like, you can get a good few years. You could be the perfect bridge to, say, a Mike Penders flourishing into a Chelsea starting quality. I must say, he had a shocker against Spain. I know the France team defended really poorly, and Didier Deschamps set them up really poorly, and he seemingly doesn't know how to utilize that talent. But there was a couple of instances I looked at Big Mike and I was like, oh. I mean, the Yamal non-penalty goal, yeah, it was a great finish, but like, he should have saved it. He got his hand to it, he should have saved it. And it is being reiterated around different football media, let's say Chelsea fan media platforms, that he hasn't had the greatest couple of years. A lot of people would counter that with Milan haven't had the greatest couple of years, and that perhaps, you know, it's... Look, let me just put my position out there. I want Maignan, but I would like us to sign him for pretty much nothing. I don't want us to throw a lot of cash on him. I think, which is peculiar. It feels kind of paradoxical, because I would start him. I'd be like, yes, he'd be our Chelsea starting goalkeeper, but it would almost be like kind of incidental, just because he's such a big boy name, and like, you know. But yeah, he hasn't been playing particularly well the last couple of seasons. But for me, he's got that leadership, that experience. He still starts over the goalkeepers we have. So, but like, you know, I was quite excited about seeing Petrovic in goal again, a young goalkeeper trending in the right direction, who's got great passing stats. But, you know, for me, Maignan still trumps him. And, yeah, if Chelsea think we're not on our knees for this current iteration of Mike Maignan. He's not the same as when we went in for him, 2 or 3 years ago. Chelsea like, yeah, we'll take him, but on our terms. I kind of back it. I know people might disagree, and a lot of Chelsea fans would be like, just give them 30 million quid and let's move on with our lives. I don't know. I kind of like not just giving in certain times and not giving in certain times. Unless it's a really, really, really important player and target, which Maignan a couple of years ago would have been when they wanted 80 million. I don't know. I hope we get him. I'll follow the story. I hope we get him. But watching him yesterday and perhaps looking at the stats of the last couple of seasons, I'm a little bit less, bring him. So we'll see what happens there. Right, Liam Delap's taken the cursed number 9 shirt, which of course I put in the title of yesterday's video despite being announced literally as I finished recording. I just wanted to let you guys know I've acknowledged it, and it's a notification of piece of news in the title. Yeah, I kind of like it. I know it's the number 9 curse of Aubameyang, Lukaku, Higuain, and others. Morata, he took the 9, didn't he? I think it'd be a bit harsh on Tammy. I think Tammy did alright. But it's tough, but fair play. Why not? He wants the number 9 shirt. It's iconic. We'll see. He's done a little bit of media with Chelsea. It's all very exciting. I like Liam Delap. I think he's a good physical profile. I've been pretty consistent on that. I'm quite excited we signed him. We'll see him play. He's been withdrawn from Lee Carsley's under-21 squad because he is going to the Club World Cup with Chelsea. We'll see him play. We'll comment on that accordingly. Another shirt number that has been announced, of course, is Cole Palmer has rather deservedly and quite excitingly, he's got the number 10 shirt. Since Eden Hazard has left Chelsea, we've seen the number 10 shirt go to Willian, which was very much placeholder. Even though, Lampard loved Willian under him. It's funny because the two senior Brazilians, Willian and David Luiz fell out with Lampard. They won the Champions League together. I did a video on that in 2019 on this channel. A long time ago. Feels like we've all grown up together, haven't we? So I still really wonder what happened there between Luiz and Lampard because, that 2012 and Munich and Luiz just didn't want to play under Lampard. But Willian did, and Willian played really well, and Frank loved him. And then, of course, we saw it go to Christian Pulisic as the number 10, Captain America. I do maintain for a time, Christian Pulisic looked really good at Chelsea. Lockdown Pulisic, yada. But it just wasn't, and he was still suffering from not. Willian almost didn't get the comparisons, but Pulisic got the comparisons to Hazard and couldn't live up to it. Then Mudryk, who's a completely different player, who's very transitional, very running behind, and it was like, I still think there's a political element to his signing after the new ownership and the old one, which I've spoken about before, and I'm not going to dredge up now. And now Cole Palmer. Now we feel like we finally got a worthy guy to wear the Chelsea number 10. No disrespect to the middling guys in between Hazard and Palmer. But Palmer, he won. He absolutely cleaned up last season in the Premier League for all the... He should have won. Not only did he win Premier League Young Player of the Year, it was PFA Young Player of the Year. He should have won Senior Player of the Year over Phil Foden. He had better numbers, the bias. I mean, this season, why is he not showing Conference League goals? Because he got a couple of assists in the final, didn't he? But even in the Premier League, he got 23 Premier League goal involvements. Playing as an attacking midfield. And he didn't score or do anything for months. It's a few months off. He got 6 Man of the Match awards in in a quiet season, which is still he's still delivered what can only be described as elite numbers. I think he's probably got a couple of penalties as well. It's probably 13 non-penalty goals and a couple of penalties and 8 assists. Still elite. It's elite numbers. So he is very much Chelsea's number 10. But of course, the ramifications of this is Mykhailo Mudryk. Look, Mudryk was signed before Cole Palmer. Yeah. I believe, yes. And They didn't know what they had in Cole Palmer. Maybe, even if Mudryk was fine and playing next season, they still would have done this. They would have sat Mudryk down and been like, look, mate, I'm sorry, but this guy has elevated our club exponentially, both on and off the pitch in terms of, like, marketability. We need to give him this shirt. Maybe Mudryk would have understood. Maybe it made it a lot easier as well that he's been provisionally banned. Like, you can't play right now, so even if they think he'll come back in a few months, it's a lot easier to have that conversation. Or maybe he's just dusted. He's done. He's been stripped of his shirt number because he's not going to play football. We've heard from different journalists at different times that there's, certainly for a while, no obligation from all the parties involved, the FA, the Premier League, Chelsea, and the doping people, to announce the situation until they want to. They just need to know the situation themselves. I'm not speculating. I'm not getting any kind of trouble here. Allegedly speculating, theorizing. But I wonder if he's cooked. Yeah, we speak to my lawyer. Can I say he's cooked? Yeah. Let's move on. Right, Santi Aouna, the journalist who writes for Foot Mercato and all kinds of different publications. He's talked about Osimhen. Now, I'm sorry if you're all rolling your eyes, and I get it. I'm not going to spend too much time on this, but, you know, on the John Obi Mikel train, he wants Chelsea. He loves Chelsea. He's perfect for Chelsea. But apparently, Al Hilal, who looked like they were going to sign him yesterday, have now left the race to sign Victor Osimhen. The Saudis improved their offer to take a deep breath. 35 million euros per year. But the Nigerian striker's expectations are too high. What? Al Hilal feel he is too expensive, and they're now focusing on signing a new striker. Saudi Arabian League think Osimhen is too expensive. How is little old wage structure Chelsea ever going to sign him? How were we ever going to sign him? What I don't understand is, if Al Hilal are saying you are too expensive, how were we close? And where's he going to go? Galatasaray are apparently going to make him their highest paid player ever in history. I guess he's a player that I thought was perfect for Chelsea, but as time goes on, I'm just learning it was never going to be financially viable, despite people like John Obi Mikel and other journalists saying we got really close, but I can't see how was that ever close. Even if he's like, right, Chelsea, Premier League, you know, good optics, I will lower my demands. So maybe like, you know, I don't freaking know, like 40 million euros a year to play for Saudi and 15 million pounds a year to play for Chelsea. I don't know. Again, speculating, but we'll talk about Hugo Ekitike in just a second. That's right. So we are looking for wingers. Mohamed Kudus. Many of you guys will really want Kudus. He was very, very exciting. When West Ham first signed him, it was funny because they didn't spend that much on him, and he looked amazing at West Ham. Early doors, I should stress. And Manchester United bought the other Ajax winger in Anthony for 80 million. And it was like, and their numbers would dictate, like, Anthony never had high numbers. Obviously, it's Ten Hag led, but it was like, what the ruddy heck? Look at the difference in these guys. One's really good, one's really bad. One costs less, one costs more. It made, you know, the math weren't certainly mathing at the time. He'll be exciting should we sign him. There's talk about 80 million clause. Absolutely no way do one, even though he's been playing in an absolutely terrible West Ham team that perhaps we shouldn't be judging his recent numbers playing for that side. But oh my giddy aunt, she's off her nut. You can do one for that money. I'd be quite excited to sign Kudus. A lot of people on social media speaking about him being less of a touchline winger, more of a sort of Morgan Rogers style as a hybrid player to play in the left pocket, which maybe we're looking for at Chelsea. Fine. But when it comes to left wingers, we all know the name that's being mentioned. And that is, of course, young Jamie Gittins. And he's linked to the Manchester City Academy. So therefore, you know it's a banker for Joe Shields and Maresca and Dem Man. getting the band back together with Lavia, Palmer, Delap, etc., etc. Now, I'm not going to show you now. If we sign him, we'll do one more stats dive on Gittins. But what he is good at is finishing. His finishing's a lot better. His direct. I know some people have criticised him. In a way, Maignan at Milan, I think Dortmund snuck into the Champions League at the end, but they haven't been a vintage Dortmund by any means. Of course, they want Carney Chukwuemeka. We might loan him back to them for another season. Now they got Champions League football and a bit more money. There's actually talk about this original £50 million fee that's been mooted is less. Cy Phillips who's got good information, and apparently this has now since been confirmed by Fabrizio Romano. Any fee for Gittins to join from Dortmund would not be £50 million. It would actually be closer to £30 million, 3-0, which actually, for the finishing stats, the overperforming on his XG, yes, Bundesliga goals, they're worth no goals, yada, yada, yada. Truth is, he's the profile of winger Maresca likes, if we are indeed going to go for a Noni Madueke style, and, a Neto, and even, Jadon Sancho style winger, though Gittins is much, much more direct than Jadon Sancho, and is a much better goal scorer than Jadon Sancho, and will go for goal more than Jadon Sancho. And of course, he's, 5 years younger than Sancho as well? I believe he's 20, Jamie Gittins. I very much nailed my colours to that mast, and I'd be very happy for him. I was sort of happy for him around maybe 50 million or just under, like 45 million, because I sort of understood the market might be going that direction, but 30 million. And I got this sewn up. I'd go for it personally, especially with Nico Williams. I know he scored a nice goal for Spain, but his wages are incredibly insane. Right, let's finish on Hugo Ekitike, notre joueur français. My word, maybe they could have done with him yesterday in the senior team the way. Actually, they had so many forwards out there, didn't they? By the way, quick reminder, Football Yannick, I'll just say it now, daily uploads, multiple uploads on the second channel for non-Chelsea content. I reacted to that 9-goal thriller with Didier Deschamps just throwing attackers all in the wrong positions, and Ryan Cherky probably should have started coming on and nearly saving the game. So Hugo Ekitike, very interesting. Very, very interesting. We're being quoted way too much money for him. 100 million euros. That's one thing everyone can agree on. Yeah, it's just silly sausage money. So, fine. Too much. We'd have to find a negotiation. Maybe 60 million fee with like a 20 million in add-ons or something. Whatever. The truth is, you're hearing some people say, oh, he's too similar to Jackson. You're hearing some people say, oh, he's not physical enough. You're hearing some people saying he is physical. You're hearing some people say he's just this really, really direct striker that will get better and better and score loads of goals. I'm hearing, as not an analyst or scout, whatever myself, I'm hearing a lot of conflicting information of Ekitike, and as we can all watch highlights and it'll look amazing. The truth is, I think he's probably a really good profile for Maresca, and actually, with a, I don't mean to sound like derogatory, I mean it in a good way, but with a bully like Delap, I feel like we'll be covering a lot of different styles of striker. Chelsea have had 3 good strikers before many times. I've got no issue with it at all, especially back in Champions League with cups. And who knows, Maresca might, play certain game states with 2 of them on the pitch. That would be exciting. This, of course, would all be if Marc Guiu goes on loan, which I think he should, and I'd be very interested to see him at either like a top-end championship loan or a bottom Premier League. To be honest, I'd love to see him go to a really strong championship side and just watch him beat the so-and-so out of people and score goals. And because he's 18, isn't he 18? How old is Marc Guiu? Is he 19 now? He might be 20. He's 19. So he's not 20 till next year. He's a teenager. He scored a bunch of goals in the Conference League, so he's got that medal with Chelsea. I know he didn't feature in the final, I don't think, but he scored a bunch of goals in the Conference League. He is a huge contributing player to that trophy, European trophy, when he can put that medal up somewhere and be like senior football important player for Chelsea, and then go and do like a league campaign in the Championship, come back to either Chelsea or somewhere else, 20 years old, and just be a wicked asset. And who knows, by then we might have Salt Jackson maybe if he doesn't work out, if he's not happy with Ekitike or something, and we'll have options. From this last season that's just finished, that we've suffered from no centre forwards, from just literally no options, and playing like Tyreek, George, and Neto as a striker. I'd rather have too many strikers than go through that again. Let me know what you think, though. Please do comment down below, leaving your thoughts on everything I've spoken about today. I didn't do screen shares because I didn't do the preparation, but everything I've cited is the sources who I've said it's from. Yeah, man, thank you for liking and subscribing. If you are bored, if you're at a loose end, go check out Football Yannick. Keep it locked here, my friends. See you back here soon. Peace.